You guys will never believe what happened. I just turned 18, like 3 days ago, and being an adult is already a total adventure. I'm staying at this charming seaside bed and breakfast in a quiet coastal village for an art retreat, chasing my dream of becoming a graphic novelist. There's this guy, Henry, the retired lighthouse keeper who runs the place, with this warm, weathered, vibed think, gray hair, soulful eyes, and a voice that could calm a storm. So last night, neither of us could sleep, and we ended up sitting outside watching the sky lighten until sunrise. What started as small talk turned into something way more intense. Want to know how it played out? Keep watching, because this story is all about quiet nights and sparks that glow brighter than a coastal dawn. Like and subscribe for more. Sarah had just turned 18 3 days ago, and the thrill of her new adulthood felt like a fresh panel in her sketchbook, ready for bold lines and vibrant colors. Her temporary home at the seaside haven, bed and breakfast in the serene coastal village of Tideview, was her creative sanctuary for the summer, filled with pencils, comic drafts, and the scent of sea salt and lavender drifting through open windows, where she poured her heart into her dream of becoming a graphic novelist. The milestone of her 18th birthday was like a spark igniting her courage, freedom to take risks, chase passions, and make choices that felt thrilling and new. Her latest comic panel, a figure sitting by the ocean under a fading, starry sky, reflected her restless energy, its lines sharp and vivid, much like her own life right now. But lately her thoughts kept drifting to Henry, the bed and breakfast's owner, whose warm presence had become a distraction she couldn't shake. At 63, Henry was a retired lighthouse keeper with a quiet strength that had caught her eye since she arrived for the art retreat 2 weeks ago. His gray hair was slightly tousled by the sea breeze. His soulful green eyes carried the weight of years spent guiding ships, and his hands, calloused from years of tending the lighthouse, moved with a gentle precision. His morning, Sarah, at breakfast, paired with a warm smile, made her heart skip. She'd told herself it was nothing, just admiration for a kind, older man who'd spent his life keeping others safe. But her just-turned 18 confidence fueled a boldness she couldn't suppress. And tonight, that boldness led to a moment she hadn't planned. It was past midnight, the bed and breakfast quiet except for the distant crash of waves. The coastal village bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. Sarah had been tossing and turning in her room, unable to sleep, her mind racing with sketches and the weight of her new adulthood. Giving up, she slipped on a sweater and jeans and stepped outside to the back porch, hoping the sea air would calm her. She found Henry there, sitting on a wooden bench, staring at the stars, his hands wrapped around a mug of tea. "Couldn't sleep either?" he asked, his voice a low, soothing rumble, his green eyes catching hers in the moonlight. Her heart pounded, a mix of surprise and excitement. "Nope," she said, sitting beside him, her sketchbook resting on her lap. "Too much going on up here," she added, tapping her temple, her voice soft but charged. "Just turned 18, and my brain won't quit." He chuckled, setting his mug down, his eyes lingering on her. "Newly 18 and already restless. Sounds about right." The night was still, the air heavy with the scent of salt and the soft rhythm of waves. Neither could sleep, so they stayed, watching the sky as their small talk-art retreats, lighthouse stories turned personal. Sarah shared her dreams of publishing her graphic novel. Henry talked about his years guiding ships through storms. The minutes stretched, the sky lightening from inky black to soft gray, their conversation blurring the line between casual and something deeper. Every glance, every shared laugh carried more weight than the last, the porch charged with an energy neither expected. Sarah's pulse pounded, her just-turned date-high confidence making her feel bold, alive. "Am I keeping you up too late?" she teased, her voice soft but daring, her eyes locked on his as the first hints of dawn glowed on the horizon. "Only the good kind of late," he said, his voice low, his smile warm, the moments simmering like the sea before them. The next morning, Sarah woke in her room, Henry's voice lingering in her mind. Her dreams tangled with the memory of the porch, the way his eyes had held hers as the sky lightened. She shook it off, blaming her impulsiveness. But her thoughts kept drifting to him as she headed to the village's cafe for a break from sketching. Work was light, doodling comics between serving tables, but every time her phone buzzed, she hoped it was him. Around noon, a text came through. "That sunrise? Still glowing in my mind. Impressive for an 18-year-old artist. H." Her heart skipped and she smiled, typing back. "Just turned 18, so I'm allowed to shake things up, right?" His reply was quick. "You're shaking up plenty. Coffee later? I owe you for keeping me company till dawn." Her pulse raced and she hesitated, her fingers hovering over the keys. She should keep things simple, play it safe, but her just turned 18 heart was bold, hungry for the spark she'd felt last night. "You're on. I am at the Cafe Sen. Bring your best lighthouse story." That afternoon, Henry walked into the cafe, a faded nautical chart tucked under his arm, his grin disarming as he slid into a booth. "Thought I'd bring a story, as requested," he said, passing her the chart. His fingers brushing hers, the contact sending a spark up her arm. Sarah took the chart, her cheeks flushing as she admired its intricate lines. "You're spoiling me," she teased, leaning across the table, the sea breeze drifting through the open windows. "First sunrise chats, now your charts. What's next?" He shrugged, his green eyes twinkling. "Maybe I'm just trying to keep up with the new 18-year-old at the B&B. You're making waves already." Her heart raced, and they talked. The cafe's hum fading as their conversation flowed, her comic sketches. His years at the lighthouse, the way their sunrise moment had shifted something between them. The tension was a constant undercurrent, every shared laugh and glance adding to it. Sarah's mind wandered to the way the porch had felt alive last night, the way his presence had warmed her, and she wondered how far she could push this newfound boldness. "Your trouble," he said, his voice low, leaning forward, his elbow brushing hers on the table. "Just turned 18, and you're already turning my nights upside down." She grinned, her heart pounding. "Good kind of trouble, I hope." His smile was slow, knowing, a spark of mischief in his eyes. "The best kind." They lingered in the booth, the chart between them, and Sarah found herself opening up more than she'd planned. Her fears about her comics not being good enough, her excitement about being 18, her dreams of seeing her work in print. Henry listened, his eyes steady, his presence grounding her like a lighthouse beam. "You've got something special," he said, his voice sincere, his gaze unwavering. "Your comics, they're bold, like you. Don't let those doubts hold you back. The world needs your stories." Her heart swelled, caught off guard by his encouragement, the warmth in his words wrapping around her like a cozy blanket. "Thanks," she said, her voice soft. "That means a lot." The next day, Sarah's nerves were electric as she prepared for a village art fair where Henry was helping with a historical display. She'd volunteered to sketch posters, curious about his world, and wore a simple dress and sneakers, her sketchbook tucked into her bag. When she arrived, Henry was setting up old lighthouse artifacts, his green eyes lighting up when he saw her. "Glad you made it," he said, handing her a stack of flyers, his fingers grazing hers. "Didn't expect you to be an early bird after last night." She grinned, setting her sketchbook down. "Just turned 18. Gotta keep you on your toes." The fair was lively, villagers browsing under colorful tents, Henry's voice warm and steady as he explained the artifacts. Sarah watched him, mesmerized by the way his hands moved, gentle and precise, like an artist with relics instead of pencils. When he helped her hang a poster, his hand brushing hers, her heart skipped, the contact electric. You're a natural, he said, his voice low, his eyes catching hers. Got an artist's touch even with setups. Thanks, she said, her cheeks flushing, their faces close. You're not bad at this, though you're terrible at keeping your distance. He laughed, stepping back, his eyes twinkling. Maybe I don't want to keep my distance. Her breath caught, the air charged with unspoken possibility. Careful, Henry, she teased, her heart pounding. I just turned 18. I might take that personally. His smile was slow, knowing. Maybe I want you to. The fair stretched into the afternoon, and Sarah lingered, helping Henry clean up. They talked about her comics, his favorite lighthouse tailies, the way their village felt like a canvas of its own. Every glance, every brush of their hands as they packed up added to the tension. A tightrope she was eager to walk. Over the next few days, Henry became a constant in Sarah's life, slipping into her routine with an ease that thrilled her. He'd stop by her room with extra lighthouse books for her to sketch from, his grin betraying the excuse. They'd text late at night, sharing snippets of their lives, Henry's stories of stormy nights at the lighthouse, Sarah's dreams of publishing her graphic novel, her sketches taking on a new vibrancy inspired by their connection. Each interaction was laced with flirty tension, a push and pull that left her dizzy. One afternoon, Henry invited her to a local craft shop to browse art supplies, claiming he needed her eye for a new display. Thought you'd like the vibe, he said over the phone, his voice warm, and I'd like your company. She agreed, her heart fluttering as she chose a sweater and jeans, her sketchbook in her bag for inspiration. The craft shop was cozy, filled with the scent of paint and wood, shelves packed with supplies. Henry was at her side, his presence steady, his stories of lighthouse maintenance making her laugh as they wandered the aisles. They shared a laugh over a quirky sketch pad, their shoulders brushing as they reached for it, the contact electric. You're good at this, she said, her voice teasing as they paused by a shelf of colored pencils, making a craft shop feel like a comic panel. He grinned, picking up a pencil and turning it over. Takes one to know one. You're not exactly boring, Sarah. She laughed, nudging him playfully. Just turned 18. Gotta keep things interesting. His eyes twinkled, and he handed her the pencil to inspect, their fingers brushing, the moment stretching as the shop faded away, leaving just the two of them. This one's bold like you, he said, his voice low, his smile warm. Her cheeks flushed and she smiled, her heart racing with her just turned 18 confidence. She wanted to lean closer, to push the boundaries further, but she held back, savoring the spark, the way it made her feel like her comics were coming to life. One evening, Henry invited her to the lighthouse for a private tour, claiming he needed her opinion on a new historical exhibit. Sarah hesitated, her heart racing at the idea of being alone with him again. The memory of their sunrise moments still vivid, but her curiosity won out. As she stepped into the lighthouse, the scent of sea air and old wood enveloped her. The space a mix of rustic charm and maritime history under the glow of a lantern. Hey guys, Sarah said, her voice bright but with a playful edge, as if speaking to her imaginary audience, her eyes glinting with mischief. We're about to get into this spicy portion of the story, so please don't forget to like and subscribe. She grinned, setting her sketchbook on a ledge, the air already buzzing with anticipation as she turned to Henry, her heart pounding with her just turned to in confidence. They stood by the lighthouse's spiral staircase, a stack of old logbooks between them, and talked. Her latest comic panels, his lighthouse exhibit plans. The way their sunrise moment had sparked something new. The lighthouse felt alive, the memory of her bold move lingering like the scent of salt in the air. Sarah, he said, his voice low, leaning forward, his eyes steady. I'm not just here for the logs or the coffee runs. You know that, right? Her heart stuttered, her breath catching, the memory of the porch flashing in her mind. I suspected. He reached out, his fingers brushing her wrist. Light, but deliberate, the contact sending a shiver through her. Good. Because I'm not good at pretending I don't want something. And I want to know you. Really? Know you. She swallowed, her voice unsteady, her heart pounding with the thrill of her own daring. Your trouble, Henry? Maybe, he said, his thumb tracing a slow circle on her wrist, the touch sparking something new. But you're not running. Just turned 18, and you're already breaking all the rules. She laughed, a shaky sound, and leaned into the moment, the heat of his touch igniting a fire in her just-turned Anton heart. Maybe I like breaking them, she said, her voice playful but honest, her eyes locked on his. He smiled, his eyes twinkling with a mix of amusement and something deeper. Good, because I'm starting to like it too. The following week, Sarah's life felt like a comic panel bursting with color, each moment with Henry adding new lines to her story. The art retreat was busy, but he was a constant distraction, his presence lingering in her thoughts like a half-finished sketch. He'd started leaving notes with his books, small handwritten things tucked into pages. Found a tale today that reminded me of you. Too bold for my shelves? H. Or bet I can guess your favorite comic by the end of the week. Hint, it's not adventure. H. Each note made her smile, her heart race, her just-turned-teen confidence growing with every interaction. Her retreat classmate Lily noticed, cornering her at the cafe during a break. Henry, huh? She said, her tone teasing but cautious, her eyes narrowing. He's got you all flustered. Be careful, Sarah. I'm just having fun, Sarah said, but the words felt hollow. Her mind replaying the warmth of the lighthouse, the spark of his touch. She wasn't sure what she was doing, only that Henry made her feel alive, like a character stepping into a bold, new arc. One night they met for a quiet evening walk along the beach, Henry claiming he needed to clear his head after a long day. Thought you'd like the inspiration, he said, his voice warm. And I'd like your company. She agreed, wearing a jacket and jeans, her hair loose, the beach glowing with moonlight and the sound of waves. The air was filled with the scent of salt and driftwood, the village's charm vibrant. Henry was at her side, his coat brushing her arm, his stories of stormy lighthouse nights making her laugh as they passed a glowing tide pool. You're good at this, she said, her voice teasing as they paused by the water, making a beach feel like a story. He grinned, his eyes catching the moonlight. Takes one to know one. You're not exactly boring, Sarah. She laughed, nudging him playfully. Just turned 18. Gotta keep things interesting. They stood by the tide pool, their shoulders brushing as they watched the waves, the tension a constant undercurrent. Sarah's heart raced, her just-turned-18 confidence urging her to lean closer. But she held back, savoring the spark, the way it made her feel like she was living in one of her comics. One night, they met for a late-night coffee run at a 24-hour diner near the village, the beach quiet around them. The diner was all neon lights and retro booths, the air filled with the scent of fries and coffee. They sat across from each other, sharing a plate of fries, Henry's presence steady, his stories of quirky lighthouse visitors painting vivid pictures in her mind. But the tension was a constant undercurrent, every shared laugh and glance adding to it, the memory of their sunrise encounter lingering like an unfinished sketch. You're different, he said, his voice low, leaning forward, his elbow brushing hers on the table. Just turned 18, and you've got this. Fire. It's hard to look away. Her cheeks flushed, and she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, her heart pounding. Good. I don't want you to look away. His laugh was low, warm, his eyes twinkling with a mix of amusement and something deeper. Careful what you wish for. They lingered in the diner, the fries growing cold, and Sarah opened up more than she'd planned, her fears about her comics not measuring up, her excitement about being 18, her dreams of seeing her work in print. Henry listened, his eyes steady, his presence grounding her like a lighthouse's steady beam. You've got something special, he said, his voice sincere, his gaze unwavering. Your comics, they're bold, like you. Don't let those doubts hold you back. The world needs your stories. Her heart swelled, and she smiled, caught off guard by his encouragement. The warmth in his words wrapping around her like a cozy blanket. "Thanks," she said, her voice soft. "That means a lot." They walked back to the bed and breakfast, the night air cool, the village's rhythm soothing. At her room's door, Sarah turned to face him, her keys dangling, her heart pounding. The memory of their sunrise encounter, the bold move that had started this spark, flashed in her mind, and the tension between them felt stronger than ever. "You're making it really hard to keep this." "Guest and host," she said, her voice a mix of teasing and truth, her hazel eyes locked on his. Henry stepped closer, his hand resting on the doorframe above her, his body close enough to feel his warmth, his presence steady but electric. "Guest and host is overrated," he said, his voice low, rich, carrying the weight of their shared moments. "What do you want, Sarah?" Her mouth went dry, her heart racing with the thrill of her new adulthood. What did she want? Safety, simplicity, the life she knew? Or this him, the thrill, the fire he ignited in her just-turned Dayton heart? "I don't know," she whispered, but her eyes lingered on his lips, betraying her. The memory of their sunrise moment, a quiet pulse in the back of her mind. He smiled, slow and knowing, his green eyes warm but intense. "You do, and I'm not going anywhere until you say it." She laughed, a shaky sound, and stepped back into her doorway, clutching her bag like a shield, her heart pounding with the possibilities of her new adulthood. "Good night, Henry," she said, her voice soft but charged with unspoken promise. The spark between them brighter than the coastal dawn outside. His laugh was warm, promising, his eyes locked on hers as he leaned back. "Good night, Sarah." "But this isn't over." She closed the door, her heart racing, the memory of the porch, their sunrise, his touch lingering like a sketch she couldn't erase. As she leaned against the door, she smiled, her just-turned Dayton heart ablaze with the thrill of what might come next. Knowing she was ready to keep pushing the boundaries of her new adulthood, one bold move at a time.